Hello there, Eat, Move, Lift, Enjoy viewers. The Truth About Carbs documentary I think showed last Wednesday and I saw a lot of reaction online. A lot of my fellow fitness professionals and good buddies didn't exactly love it and a lot of people kind of jumped in and waded in with their opinions. But I don't want to slag it off without watching it because that would be hypocritical, so I'm going to try and go in with a somewhat open mind, even though I know I'm a little bit biased. I don't think carbs are inherently bad, and I don't think they're inherently fattening. I just think that it's the portion control and the amount of carbs that you consume that gets people into problems. Like if I was going to write like a short snippet of what I think before I've watched it, it'd be carbs are okay in moderation. Just be aware that you're going to find carbs in a lot of different foods, so it's easy to overeat them, so just be mindful of that. It's kind of boring. I can't make an hour documentary out of that statement, so let's see how these guys get on. I'm also going to be consuming a carb killer bar as well. The irony is not lost on me. Strong intro.
Britain
at
is
the
the
kebabbery.
fattest country.
3 in 10 obese.
Those of us suffering
It's a disgrace.
from
Carbs are delicious. That's the problem.
carbohydrate contains carbs. From biscuits.
I like what they did there with the box of carbs and asking people what they thought a carb was, because I think when I've done that with clients before, when you ask someone, people inherently think the starchy stuff, so like bread, pasta, potatoes, rice, they don't necessarily think about vegetables, and they see carbs and sugar as two separate things when they're the same. Oh, I love a beige carb. They're my favourite. Grouping carbs into green, what was it, green, white and beige? Green for fibrous carbs, white for sugar, beige for starch. I saw people were hating this online afterwards. I don't mind it that much. I don't feel, okay, I've only watched 5 minutes of this programme so far. I don't find that particularly offensive. The more you simplify stuff, generally the easier it is for people to get their heads around. I like it that he keeps wandering around with this tray full of goodies though. He's binned off that broccoli now. That was not a crowd pleaser. This doesn't feel like a very well controlled experiment. This feels like some padding because they realised they had an hour programme to make. He doesn't look like he believes this. Did anyone try the cracker test, by the way? So let me know if you did, because I will not be doing it. Blood sugar bingo, I don't know if that's going to catch on. Oh, bagels are one of my absolute favourites, so don't be slagging off bagels, otherwise I'll be annoyed. 11 cubes of sugar in a bagel. God, she's shaking like a leaf. Low blood sugar. Okay, this is where the documentary is taking a turn for the worse. So I get the point of showing how much energy is in a potato, for example, however many sugar cubes it was, but when you present it like that, it immediately looks like they're like, oh, the take home is, oh, you know, be careful. But the take home that people watching that are going to run with is potatoes are bad. Like, that wasn't explicitly said, but that's the way it's leading you to think. When actually, potatoes, funnily enough, funny that they picked that one. There's something called the satiety index, which is basically like how full you feel after eating a meal or a particular food, and white potato scores really highly. So in other words, if you're on a diet, actually eating potatoes is, I would say, it's quite a good thing. Like, it's a good food to have in there. It doesn't mean that you can't eat them. It's a bit annoying. Here we go, here come the poo samples. I wonder how long it would be. What a geek, by the way. Poo professor. Bless him. There's a lot of resistant starch talk. It's not the most interesting thing in the world. Come on, Doc. Tell us what we want to know. Eat more fibre. Always a good shout. Ruminococcus. Easy for you to say. Oh, bakery. Now we're talking. Oh, look at those lovely loaves. Don't you be slagging off white bread. Pumpernickel bread. It's no tiger loaf though, is it? Fucking hate malt loaf. The claim made about freezing bread, as in if you freeze the bread and then toast it, it'll work out at less calories. I need to check that one out. I don't think you're going to lose a ton of weight if you're like, I eat 10 slices of bread a day. Just going to freeze them and then that'll be all my problems solved. Probably the difference of a few calories. I'm guessing, I don't know that for a fact. Shoot the messenger. Beige carbs don't make us fat. In excess. Don't leave that part out. In excess. In excess. Sweating like a pig. God, he's fucked. Then moving on to talk about using carbohydrates for performance. The test he's just done there, the kind of carbohydrate mouth rinse, that's been done quite a few times before, and it is interesting, right? So even though it looks like you're not drinking like the Lucozade or whatever it may be, you just swill it around in your mouth, but you get a performance benefit from it. Almost like tricking the brain. It's clever though, because essentially you can raise performance in the gym without taking on the calories, and you end up burning more calories because you work harder. The takeaway from this is stop buying fucking Lucozade, Gatorade and carb-laden drinks if you're training, just basic training in the gym. Even if you're working hard, unless you're doing endurance-based stuff, you don't need it. And if you're training for weight loss specifically, just stick with water. Simple. Ah, for fuck's sake, bad carbs. Don't use that language. Ah! That's a shocking stat. 90% of type 2 diabetes sufferers overweight. These graphics are hilarious. Love an apple. Dr. Faisal Mazarani. Sounds like a Bond villain. Okay, so the doc's getting them to have a high carb breakfast. That breakfast they've just had there, which is like a cereal, like fruit and fibre, a bit of toast, apple juice, people do think of that as a healthy breakfast, but it's basically carb on carb, which again, if you're just having one or two of those bits, they're not a massive deal, but it's a shit ton of calories and a shitload of carbs. Cauliflower rice, not for me. I like how they've prepared the food, like making it visually appealing and filling up the plates, that's a big one. Again, not tricking the body, but if it looks good and tastes good, you're more likely to stick to it, so good shout. Still not eating cauliflower rice though. God, potatoes are getting hammered. No, you lost me at aubergine. Do not like aubergine at all. I'll stick to normal lasagna. I might call bullshit on the key lime pie base. So instead of using a biscuit base, they've used, I think she just said, crushed up or whizzed up hazelnuts and different nuts. You've definitely reduced the carb content, you've definitely reduced the sugar content, probably added a few more calories I would have thought, having an exclusively nut-filled base. Just speculating. Oh good, a colonoscopy. Fucking hell, he's on the gas and air. Oh dear. I'm gonna fast forward this. Yeah, more ass shots. All the people on the little trial lost weight, no surprises there. Health markers improved. The documentary's wrapped up. I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like I said, I always go into these slightly cynical, and even though when I was watching it, there was definitely, I made a few snide comments, but I'm aware when I watch things like this that I'm watching it through like my filter. So it can be some of the statements like they throw in there, like bad carbs, for example. Oh, these are bad carbs. Me getting annoyed with that, it might seem like a trivial point, but as soon as you label something as bad, people will then avoid it forever. So when they talk about, they group beige carbs and they're like, yeah, potatoes, get rid of them. You're excluding a food that has a really positive effect on appetite, has a ton of other micronutrients there within it as well. You can't group them as bad. You just have to be conscious that if you're having rice and pasta and starchy carbs, cereal even, that they're incredibly easy to overconsume. So another takeaway point that the doc made at the end there was, instead of obsessing about calories, actually start thinking about what carbs you're putting in. So for people who hate calorie counting and are like, oh my God, I can't think of anything worse, if you replace all the pastas, rice and breads with tons of vegetables, you're going to reduce calories by default. So you don't have to count anything, it's a simpler process. So for some people, it can be easy to adhere to. That's why low carb diets, if I tell someone, remove all the carbs out of your diet, all the starchy carbs, it's a black and white instruction at the end of the week is, did you eat them or not? Whereas if I tell someone to stick to 1500 calories a day, that's going to require them to be measuring, weighing food, tracking food on FitnessPal, and there's a lot more opportunity for it to go wrong. But the advantage with going the calorie route is that you can include some of those foods, some of those bad foods, in the right quantity, and they'll be absolutely fine and you'll still lose weight. So that kind of brings me on to my next point. Carbs in excess can be detrimental. Sugar in excess can be detrimental. Fat in excess can be detrimental. Having too much fibre can be detrimental. Harder to do, admittedly. The quantity of the calories is what drives weight gain or facilitates weight loss. So whether you do that by, you have to know that. If you had Jaffa cakes that were used in the example and apples, and you had like 1,000 calories of each, okay, the fibre in the apple is going to have an impact on health, gut health, that kind of thing, but on weight loss it's going to be minimal. All that being said, the conclusion at the end, eat healthy, eat some more fruits and veggies, which is I'm never going to be mad at that as a conclusion, because I think we could all do that. And when they spoke about things like fertility, bowel cancer, type 2 diabetes, people do need to hear that. And if improving your diet and improving your lifestyle, or adopting something as a lifestyle, is how I would put it. If you adopt a healthier lifestyle, not a crash diet for 2 weeks, but start making better choices, and you can avoid some of those horrific illnesses and diseases down the line, then why wouldn't you do it? And also the guys and girls on there that lost weight and again all their health outcomes suddenly improve, it's hard to hate on that. And if they can follow it long term and that's the way they want to go, then by all means go for it. Final verdict, kind of what I expected, some parts a bit annoying, but the general message to eat more fibrous carbs is a solid recommendation, but don't demonise potatoes. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy. Bye bye.